Barbados has lost one of its great patriots, and I have lost a dear friend. It was with the most profound sense of personal sadness that I learnt earlier today of the passing of my dear friend and a true builder of Barbados, Harold Fitzherbert Hoyte, at the age of 78. While Harold had been ailing for some time, and the nature and extent of his medical situation served as fair notice that his end might be near, that knowledge has not been nearly enough to blunt the impact of the news, for our country truly has lost a prize son who has contributed more than his fair share to the development of post-independence Barbados. It would be impossible to separate the name Harold Hoyte from the path of journalism in Barbados and the Caribbean over the past 60 years. Equally, it would be impossible to separate him from the story of success of the enterprise known as the Nation newspaper. There is no Barbadian who would fail to recognize the critical role that the Nation has played in contributing to the safeguarding of Barbados' stability since independence. In fact, the Nation newspaper, and by extension the Nation Publishing Company Limited, with Harold Hoyte as one of its first leaders, represents one of the most potent symbols and examples of business success by Barbadians in our post-independence history. On another note, Harold understood Barbados and Barbadians. We saw the evidence in his editorial judgments and in his professional and indeed political commentary. It was clear to all that he never lost contact with the pulse of the people, that throughout his career, Harold remained a defining feature of a person who so many could respect and mix with. He loved his country, and he was never afraid to speak truth to power in its fervent defense. I can tell you that politicians on all sides of the political divide would think twice before they dared to ignore him, because they knew that if they did so, it was at their own peril. For he was an astute judge of Barbadians, particularly on those matters he so fondly referred to as bread and butter issues. In my eyes, Harold Hoyte was more than worthy to hold any and all offices in this land. He volunteered his time and intellect in ways too numerous to count. But for me, one of his seminal contributions was his service on the Commission on Law and Order, established during my tenure as Attorney General. In addition, he did what so many have not done. He wrote our history, and I am so grateful that he did it for us and was able to share his perspective on his books before he left us. At a very personal level, my friendship with Harold became even closer in the last 10 or so years, where he was a pillar of strength for me and where I knew I could rely on both those virtues of which I just spoke, but also his utter discretion and his wise counsel. I shall miss him, as will many Barbadians, for his political and his editorial commentary. But above all, I shall miss him as a warm, generous, and committed human being. To his wife Noreen, to his children Tracy and Bobby and the rest of his family, I extend the deepest sympathies on behalf of our country, and on behalf of a grateful nation and people. I extend to them the offer of an official funeral as a small but initial token of appreciation for Harold's immense contribution to this country. May he rest in peace.